Before sunrise, Central Bhutan feels colder, quieter, and far more remote. Roads disappear into fog. Prayer flags move through mountain wind. And somewhere inside these forests, the Himalayas are already awake. Over the next few days, our journey would move through wetlands, cloud forests, alpine ridges, and hidden valleys deep inside Bhutan. By the end of the full expedition, we would document 252 species of birds across Bhutan. And Central Bhutan alone would reveal 74 species. But this phase was never about numbers. Because here, birding becomes part of the landscape itself. You hear movement before visibility. You follow calls through fog. And sometimes, a few seconds is all the mountains allow. Only days earlier, Phase 1 had carried us from the subtropical forests of Phuan Sholing, through Tiger's Nest, and into the alpine river systems of Paro. But deeper inside central Bhutan, the Himalayas begin changing again. Quieter, colder, and increasingly specialized. Morning fog hangs low across the ridges above Thimphu as we begin climbing toward Dochula Pass. The forest here is wet, moss-covered, and constantly shifting in visibility. Birding becomes heavily dependent on sound. Calls echo through fog long before movement is detected. A pair of hill partridges emerges quietly from the understory, feeding together through damp leaf litter, scratching carefully beneath rhododendron cover. Every movement cautious, every pause alert. And the moment they stop moving, their camouflage almost completely erases them into the forest floor. Nearby, white-throated laughing thrushes move noisily through the canopy, highly social, constantly vocal, their calls rolling through the mist-covered valley. Along open roadside vegetation, black bulbuls remain active despite the cold mountain air, moving in small groups through fruiting trees. Then, deep inside mixed conifer forest, a yellow-rumped honey guide appears briefly. Quiet, watchful. One of the more specialized species of these Himalayan forests, closely associated with wild bee colonies hidden along mountain cliffs. Higher near the pass, a spotted nutcracker crosses overhead, perfectly adapted to high-altitude conifer forests. Its heavy bill built for extracting seeds from Himalayan pine cones. Descending toward Punakha, the landscape opens dramatically. River systems widen, temperatures rise, and migratory wetland bird life begins appearing everywhere. Bar-headed geese rest beside the riverbanks, one of the highest-flying migratory birds on Earth, capable of crossing Himalayan peaks at extreme altitude. Nearby, great crested grebes drift silently across calmer water, low against the surface, constantly scanning beneath the river for fish. Mixed waterbird flocks spread across the valley wetlands, and along exposed river edges, ibisils patrol cold glacial stones, perfectly adapted to fast-flowing Himalayan rivers. Then, brief movement across the grassland edge, an Isabelline weeder, using exposed rocks as lookout points across the open valley terrain. Beyond Wangdue, the roads narrow, the valleys deepen, and the forests begin feeling older. Cloud forest now dominates the landscape. Mixed feeding flocks move rapidly through the canopy. Black-faced laughing thrushes, chestnut-crowned laughing thrushes, constantly scavenging through damp forest edges. moving together through the mountain understory. Farther inside the forest, striated bobols move steadily through fruiting canopy, their calls carrying through fog-covered slopes. Then, suddenly, one of the most visually striking birds of the journey, the Himalayan monal. A male emerges onto an exposed mountain slope, its iridescent plumage shifting between metallic green, copper, and blue. And then, the behavior becomes even more extraordinary. The bird lowers itself into loose mountain soil and begins taking a dust bath, throwing dry earth across its plumage. Completely relaxed, completely natural. One of the Himalayas' most iconic pheasants, fully immersed in its alpine habitat. By late afternoon, we reach the high ridges near Tharpaling Monastery. Cold wind moves through prayer flags. Fog drifts across exposed slopes, and birding becomes intensely focused. Then, movement across alpine ground. A group of blood pheasants, foraging together across low vegetation. Unlike many pheasants, these birds remain highly social, feeding continuously as a coordinated group, perfectly adapted to harsh Himalayan conditions. And then, near a roadside grass edge, another extraordinary encounter. A Satyr Tragopan, partially hidden, watching carefully through wet mountain grass. The bird moves slowly along the slope, pausing frequently, scanning the surroundings, its deep crimson plumage glowing against the darker forest edge, white spotting across the body, brilliant blue facial skin. And the behavior reveals even more. The male is actively searching for a female nearby, displaying posture, showing color, remaining alert to every movement around him. Unlike distant forest sightings, this encounter feels deeply personal, a completely wild Himalayan moment, observed naturally inside the bird's own environment. As we continue deeper into the mountains, cloud thickens across the ridgelines. The forests become wetter, denser, more isolated. Birding here becomes subtle. Movement is brief, visibility limited, and every sound matters. But even between the major encounters, Central Bhutan never stops revealing life. Some moments lasted only seconds. Others stayed with us long after the journey moved on. Across alpine slopes, village edges, river valleys, conifer forests, and bamboo-covered mountainsides, bird life continued to unfold in layers. High above the valleys, snow pigeons rested across rooftops and cliff settlements, perfectly adapted to thin mountain air and harsh elevation. Inside misty, temperate scrub, beautiful rose finches moved silently through budding branches, the males glowing with color, while the females disappeared almost completely into the vegetation. On exposed perches overlooking clearings, gray-backed shrikes watched with absolute focus, patient predators scanning for insects and small prey below. Near rocky mountain trails, female Hodgson's redstarts flicked their bright rufous tails, pausing briefly before disappearing again into stone and shadow. Across open pasture land, the unmistakable Eurasian hoopoe probed the soil with its long, curved bill, its crest lifting suddenly in the morning light. Inside thorny alpine scrub, rufous-breasted accenters remained low and cautious, perfectly matched to the dry mountain vegetation around them. Among rocks and abandoned walls, female black redstarts hunted quietly along the ground, constantly shifting between exposed perches. and in the distant valleys, Eurasian magpies cut through the silence with harsh calls, their long, iridescent tails catching light against the mountains. Near monasteries and high passes, red-billed choves rode strong Himalayan winds effortlessly, sweeping across deep valleys in tight aerial turns. Along steep cliff faces, Asian house martins disappeared into mud nests fixed beneath overhangs, returning constantly with insects collected high above the valleys. Inside dark conifer forests, Himalayan bluetails remained restless and difficult to follow, dropping suddenly from branches to feed among pine needles below. On the forest floor, olive-backed pipits moved carefully through leaf litter, stopping only for brief seconds before vanishing deeper into cover. Within dense alpine shrubs, pink-browed rosefinches added sudden flashes of soft crimson against fading mountain grass. Mixed feeding flocks moved continuously through the canopy. Rufous-vented euhenas traveled in active groups, while green-tailed sunbirds hovered through flowering scrub, feeding constantly in the cold mountain air. Deeper inside evergreen forest, coal tits moved quickly through moss-covered branches, rarely remaining still for more than a moment. And wherever rhododendrons bloomed, the Himalayas revealed some of their brightest jewels. Green-tailed sunbirds, fire-tailed sunbirds, and the extraordinary Mrs. Gould sunbird, each perfectly adapted to these vertical flowering forests. On rocky slopes above the valleys, blue rock thrushes held exposed perches, watching silently across the open terrain. And hidden deep within wet bamboo thickets, one of the most difficult species finally appeared, the black-throated parrotbill, always moving, always partially concealed, a specialist of dense mountain bamboo forests where visibility disappears almost completely. In just a few days, this journey had crossed wetlands, cloud forests, alpine ridges, and remote Himalayan valleys. And across every elevation, the bird life changed with the landscape. From river specialists to mountain pheasants to hidden forest species surviving deep inside Himalayan cloud forest. This is what makes Bhutan extraordinary. Not only its biodiversity, but how naturally that biodiversity still survives. And farther east, the forests become even wilder. Phase 3 will take us deeper into eastern Bhutan, into one of the least explored regions of the Himalayas. And the journey is only beginning.